We're go for your run. Remember, Guardian, if things get too heavy, just say the word. We'll pull you back to orbit.
Ah, the Guardian will be fine. Not even one god down there. It's walk of cake.
finally got their commander to hit the field. Be ready.
Good work, Guardian. Ikora is babysitting Drifter on Kepler, and Zavala is recovering from his battle with the Witness. That leaves just Crow in Vanguard leadership. He did well against Fikrul, but he cannot be everywhere. The city needs you now more than ever.
The impact of echoes on the world fueled the scramble to fill a power vacuum. Now everyone's fighting to consolidate its territory. We've replaced the universal threat with a bunch of local ones.
Believe it or not, that's good news. I'd rather fight a series of battles than a whole damn war.
Ikora is babysitting Drifter on Kepler, and Zavala is recovering from his battle with the Witness. That leaves just Crow in Vanguard leadership. He did well against Fikrul, but he cannot be everywhere. The city needs you now more than ever.
Those readings don't make any sense.
Good to see you've returned intact.
There's a place on the East Tower.
Good to have you back. A prepared soldier is a victorious soldier. Very good.
Let's see what we've got for each other.
Let's get started.
Are you comfortable? If you need assistance, I am here to help.
Checking, checking, checking. Acknowledged. Whenever you need me again, Guardian.
Good luck out there, Guardians. Over here!
Tell your clanmates I said hi.
Others may not have heard. Anything you need? Good luck.
Your system may be faulty.
I get them in bulk.
Hello again.
I'm here next time you need me.
enabling you to keep your favorite moments alive. With secure, automated backup, you can protect your most cherished memories.
Shatter Skate is a technique used to combine the perk Eager Edge and Shatter Dive to launch yourself extremely fast. In order to do this, all you need to do is swap to your Eager Edge sword and heavy attack off a ledge. While in the heavy attack animation, press jump then Shatter Dive back to back. Now you might come across
few weeks into Season of the Deep and you're probably halfway into your...
I made this Eager Edge movement tech video 8 months.
Few weeks into Season of the Deep and you're
G'day Guardians, it's Matt here, and in today's video I wanted to share with you the fastest ways to complete the Deep Sight Resonance attunement from those weapons that have the red borders on them. For the sake of making this video a little bit easier, I'm just going to be calling those red weapons. Getting your red weapons to 100% and extracting them is necessary for a very important reason, the plus 200 neutral element, which is directly used to shape and reshape weapons at the Enclave. Now people have been wondering if it's worth keeping every single red weapon they get. My answer to that is yes, I have been, and that's thanks to how incredibly fast I've been able to complete them with some of the methods in this video. If you've been playing a solid amount of Destiny 2 since Witch Queen's release, then you, like myself, might have been feeling a little bit inundated with these red weapons. I started sharding some because I didn't have space for them, I was sharding them because I didn't really want to use some of them, and I was sharding them because I didn't feel like the elements that we were extracting were useful or needed, and with the coming update, we won't even need those perforated elements anymore. I'm here to say keep them. Keep all of your red weapons. This is just a personal preference, but I consider it a pretty good tip. I've been keeping all of my red weapons on another character, so I don't have to think about them or even look at them, and when I'm in the mindset to farm them out quickly, I can easily just transfer them over and knock them out in no time. To save trips to the vault, I'd recommend using an app like DIM or Destiny Item Manager to do your weapon transfers pretty easily. Now, there are two super duper fast ways to complete the Deep Sight Resonance quickly, and there's a third way which is still quick, but is actually my preferred method. Out of the two super duper quick methods, players will either think it's extremely lame and opt out, and the other method might not be accessible to players. Let me explain. The lame option is quite simple. Head into the Last Wish raid, go to the wishing wall, punch in the Shirochi and counter wish, and use that checkpoint to farm your weapons until your heart's content. It's not pretty, but it's efficient. You'll obviously be using rally flags to fuel your weapons if they have special or heavy ammo, but if you do have a piece of Last Wish raid armor, you can slot in taken armaments for heavy bricks to spawn on grenade kill. With this method, there's nothing flash about it. kill the wave of thralls, and pick off the knights at the back semi-slowly because each one spawns a new wave of ads. If you do it efficiently, you'll score about 80 kills in each run, and it only takes about 3 to 4 minutes per run if you do it properly. Meaning, you will complete a deep sight resonance within a weapon, usually every 2 runs, and with load times and targeting the knights properly to keep the ads coming, you're looking at about 8 minutes for a weapon to be completed. A tip if you're playing Hunter, if you pop a Deadpool tether in the pile of ads, getting a kill while enemies are connected through the tether will grant extra progress because it thinks you're killing all of them at once, even if some of them are still alive. Now, the other super quick method is farming a campaign checkpoint. If you finish a campaign mission with a red weapon on, that will grant you 35% progress for your deep sight resonance. The mission is the investigation, and I think it's roughly the second mission in the campaign. Near the end, you'll stand off against some major enemies and finish off with a Warlock Hive Guardian. Once that's done, your objective should read Rendezvous with the Contact, which is the first time that you meet Finch. At this point, you'll have a checkpoint, which works similarly to raid and dungeon checkpoints. The downside to this is one person must keep the checkpoint and load in and out for you to reap the benefits. Meanwhile, they don't get anything because they're the ones that are swapping to different characters to retain the checkpoint for you. But if you do have a god tier friend that would do that for you, it's about 5 minutes worth of loading in and out to get this done 3 times to get a weapon to 100%. The reason I say this might not be accessible as by now, most people have probably finished the campaign on 3 characters and can't get back to it. But now for my preferred method. Again, it's still very quick, but I really do prefer this way. If you have engaged by the gameplay in the background, simply just do Psyops. Psyops gives 56% to your attunement when completing one, and with a competent fire team, you're getting these done in around 9 to 10 minutes per run. I think Psyops is the best way to farm deep sight resonance from weapons because it allows you to do a few things at once. If you're not pinnacle capped yet, then killing 10 champions will give you that. You get 2 chests at the end of each run, which could contain seasonal red weapons, which most of us still need to get those patterns to craft the seasonal weapons. And you get Risen Energy, which lets us focus engrams for a guaranteed red weapon at the start of the week, but to continue focusing a specific weapon to try for more. When you compare this to farming Shirochi, or the campaign checkpoint, they're both great, but you don't have anything happening in the background with those. There's no min-max there. With Psyops, you're getting all these additional great perks to complete them, whereas Shirochi, you'll be actually spending legendary shards to buy rally flags. So as it stands, it takes about 6 to 7 minutes to complete a weapon in Shirochi, about 5 minutes to complete a weapon if you're loading into the campaign checkpoint 3 times to finish that mission, or about 10 minutes to do a Psyops. Psyops are ad dense, so you'll be able to get 44 kills, which will net you 44% attunement. Then you can just switch it off and work on a new weapon in the meantime. You want to get it to 44% because you get 56% for completing a Psyops, so there's no point in ever getting your weapon higher than 44%. It's essentially like you're working on multiple...
Few weeks into Season of the Deep and you're probably halfway into your Season Pass and stumble upon the new Deep Sight Harmonizer crafting item. To not waste these new and rare materials, let's go over what they are, what you should use them on, along with other crafting changes that have started to roll out.
It's a big match and only the best will win.
Just Godzilla bankroll, stole from Chile on. No, I ain't got it all. That means I'm barely home.
Should use them on, along with other crafting changes that have started to roll out. Deep Sight Harmonizers are an exotic crafting item that you can only obtain from your Season Pass. Around rank 50, and then every 10 levels you'll obtain one, 3 from the paid tier and 3 from the free tier. These items allow you to force a weapon to become Deep Sight resonant, allowing you to extract pattern progress so you may one day craft the weapon. First, let's talk caveats and restrictions. You can only hold one of these items in your inventory. This is most likely to prevent hoarding season over season, so people don't instantly craft all new weapons day one. That being said, you can still hoard them by leaving them in your season pass and retrieving them from the Bungie website in the following season. To know which weapons you can use a harmonizer on, which are all that you've yet to unlock the pattern for, when you hover over them you'll see in the bottom of the description box deep sight activation is available for this weapon, and inspecting the weapon will reveal a new deep sight socket. No such option will appear if you've already obtained the weapon pattern, so no accidental use, or if the weapon in question has no pattern. Try as you might, you still can't make Hothead or Cold Comfort craftable. Additionally, you can't use a harmonizer on a weapon that previously had deep sight. That deep sight socket will disappear after first extraction, and now pop up deep sight activation is not available for this weapon instance. Key word is instance. You can still use a harmonizer on another different times in this example, just not this specific one. For craftable raid weapons, you have the inclusion of 15 Spoils of Conquest as part of the activation cost for using the harmonizer, as well as you can't use harmonizers on raid weapons obtained from the raid vendors. They have to be from encounter or secret chest drops. So that's how they work. Now, what should I use them on? In my opinion, you should not use them on active seasonal or raid weapons, and should use them on expansion or non-active seasonal weapons. My rationale is that active seasonal and raid weapons are just a matter of time to acquire. Seasonal vendors all have an upgrade to guarantee 1 deep sight a week. It's easy to spam engrams to slot machine you to other deep sight drops, and seasonal keys used on activity chests will drop a deep sight weapon or high stat armor piece. So even a casual player will still walk away with 1 or 2 weapon patterns a month of your choosing. This similarly applies to raids, as they guarantee 1 to 2 deep sight weapons a week, one from the secret deep sight puzzle chest and the other from the raid vendor. Plus, when they are the weekly featured raid, you can farm specific encounters indefinitely for repeat drops. So it's a matter of time and commitment. If you aren't an active raider, then use a harmonizer on weapons you want. Just thinking efficiently, I see it as a misuse early on. So then why expand?
Guys, this is kind of a warning video because we need to talk about crafting deep sight weapons on Neomuna. There seems to be a misunderstanding on what's craftable, where the weapons are dropping, and the same question I keep getting over and over is, Cross, why are deep sights not dropping from terminal overload? Fellas, those weapons are not craftable. Red borders do not drop from terminal overload. You could do them until you're blue in the face. Now, they do have specific weapons that drop from that activity, but those are random rolls. So if you actually get a god roll from terminal overload, keep it, fellas. I think I've seen many of you discard some god rolls because you're anticipating a red border version of these weapons to drop, and we know the craftable versions of most weapons are superior. So the weapons that are not craftable, that are dropping from terminal overloads, include Synchronic Roulette, which is dropping from the Liming Harbor, Basso Ostinato, which is dropping from Ahimsa Park, and Circular Logic, which is dropping from Zephyr Concourse. You have to do those activities, and they rotate daily. They always drop these weapons, one of these weapons per area that this activity is taking place in, and it's random rolls every single time from the overload chest. You will never get a deep sight version of these weapons because Bungie made the change a long time ago that only craftable weapons will drop with a deep sight variant. Secondly, these 3 weapons are not craftable. So if you do happen to get a god roll of one of these 3, keep them. Now in total, there are 8 Neomuna weapons. 5 of them are craftable though, and we're going to talk about how to get those 5. These are the weapons you're going to want to farm red borders for. They include the fusion rifle, iterative loop, which by the way is a fantastic fusion, the hand cannon, round robin, the heavy grenade launcher, dimensional hypertrochoid, which is a very unique one as it is a stasis waveframe heavy grenade launcher. We also have the beautiful Vota bracket, which I just unlocked the pattern for. This is a strand sniper rifle, and a pulse rifle phyllotatic spiral. Now here in a few days we're actually going to be doing an overview for all the different random rolls you can get on these weapons, including the 3 non-craftable weapons. Today though, I really want you to just focus on how to get these craftable weapons. Now I do want to mention, before you even start farming, you need to first acquire these weapons. If you have not acquired them via their respective sources, they will not drop for you in the wild. Now, the grenade launcher, the sniper rifle, and the pulse rifle all drop from the Lightfall campaign, which is why we ran the campaign 3 different times. I know some people are paying to skip the campaign, but no lie, if you skip the cutscenes and just run straight through the campaign, you'll be surprised how quickly you can actually get through it. Of course, experience the campaign at least once, but afterwards, just run straight through it. The beautiful thing about doing the campaign, though, is that Nimbus actually rewards you these 3 weapons, and they're all red boxes. That means you can get 3 out of 5 completely done from just running the campaign 3 times on all of these, which really cuts down on the grind elsewhere. Now, if you don't want to run through the campaign,
16 grams of protein, no artificial anything.
Few weeks into Season of the Deep, and you're probably halfway into your Season Pass and stumble upon the new Deep Sight Harmonizer crafting item. To not waste these new and rare materials, let's go over what they are, what you should use them on, along with other crafting changes that have started to roll out. Deep Sight Harmonizers are an exotic crafting item that you can only obtain from your Season Pass. Around rank 50, and then every 10 levels you'll obtain one, 3 from the paid tier and 3 from the free tier. These items allow you to force a weapon to become Deep Sight resonant, allowing you to extract pattern progress so you may one day craft the weapon. First, let's talk caveats and restrictions. You can only hold one of these items in your inventory. This is most likely to prevent hoarding season over season, so people don't instantly craft all of the weapons day one. That being that being said,
there's really only one definitive way to level up your crafted weapons or complete your Deep Sight Resonance weapon attunement in next to no time. Subscribe, like and share if you do find this helpful.
St. John's Riverside Hospital, teams of physicians and surgeons with outstanding credentials, working with world-renowned Montefiore surgeons, put your health first. Together, we are community strong.
If you do find this helpful. To do this as fast and as efficiently as possible, you'll need your Resident Hunter. Chuck on Void 3.0, use your Deadfall Tether and the Marksman Dodge for good measure. Use Orpheus rigs which come in handy to make your Tether super regen quicker, which is important to limit the amount of time it takes to level up your weapons. Next, make your way to the Wish Wall in the Last Wish raid on the Dreaming City and enter the following code. Veteran players will probably know this by now, but farming ads here is a breeze. drop a rally flag and start the encounter. You can use the tether here or further up, but either way you'll get a few waves of ads with anywhere between 60 to 80 enemies to kill if all the waves trigger. Using tether with Orpheus rigs will bunch the ads together, making kills a lot easier, and if you're leveling primary weapons where you don't need rally flags, this can save you a lot of time too. Completing a red deep sight resonance achievement will take about 2 runs at most on any weapon, and getting to level 16 on a shaped weapon will take about 1 hour to be honest, but it's way quicker than anything else currently in the game. Maybe Bungie will increase the XP gained from activity completions instead of this monotonous grind still being a thing 3 years later, but it is what it is. If you're just getting into crafting weapons for the Witch Queen, then I have a full extensive guide on what everything means, where to get resonant materials, and how it all works, all broken down in bite-sized chunks, making it easier for new, returning, or veteran players to understand.
This is how this works pretty much, right? So you got all these new weapons to drop, these reds, as people are calling them. These are the deep sight resonance weapons. Random drops from any source in the game. They can literally drop as any weapon in the game. Any weapon can be a deep sight resonance weapon. So all of them drop, and you have this progress bar, right? Called 2-mint progress. All you got to do is get kills with the weapon, do activities with the weapon, you complete the progress bar. Now, when you complete the progress bar, it'll look like this. So all these weapons have specific elements on them. It's random, but it's based on the perks that they have. I believe there's 4 different ones. There's Ruinous, there's Adroit, there's Mutable, and there's Energetic. The 5th element is Drowned, but that's for the raid. So whenever the raid comes out, those weapons that are craftable, you'll use Drowned element. So when you look at the perks on one of these deep sight weapons, that's how you know what these elements are for. Each element is associated with a different kind of perk, right? So Ruinous element is associated with like damage perks. Adroit element is associated with like weapon stability and all that kind of stuff. Bungie has like a list that they posted online with all the elements and what they're associated with. So I'll just post that whenever I post a thing. It'll just be up there in the list. So every time you get a deep sight weapon, you don't want to scrap it. You want to make sure that you do it. Right? Complete the attunement progress, go into the weapon, and pull out one of these elements. Don't worry too much about which one it is or whatever the case. If you know which element you want, because you already know what kind of perks you want to get on the weapon when you craft it, then do that. But in the beginning, just pull them, right? Doesn't matter which one, just pull them. If, like I said, you know what you want, then you pull what you want. But you just pull them, because you're going to get that element, and you're going to get neutral element. Now, the way that you get all these elements and stuff is mainly through these deep sight weapons. So you're going to be doing a hell of a lot of attuning and a hell of a lot of pulling elements, right? You already know that when you finish the story, they gave you the glaive, they showed you how to do crafting, they gave you some materials, so they gave you a starter kit, right? But after that, when you start reshaping and shaping weapons, it's going to cost you. So you're going to be doing a lot of attuning. So when you come in here now, right, you got all these different weapons and stuff. The first question is like, how do I unlock a pattern? This says lock, that says lock. How do I unlock a pattern? So if you go into your Triumphs tab, right, go to Patterns and Catalysts, which is a new section, you can see all the patterns, which is what they're called. These are all the weapons that you can craft. And it shows you what you need to do to unlock the pattern. You basically have to complete deep sight resonance weapon extractions for that particular kind of gun. So for the auto rifle from the season, for instance, I need 5 pattern extractions, like pattern completions. So basically that means I need to do 5 deep sight resonance weapons of those, of the auto rifle that I want. I have to do 5 of those. Complete them like this, extract an element, right? And then that'll be 1 pattern pulled. I have to pull 5 patterns before I unlock that. That's how you unlock them. So once you have it unlocked, the next part of that, I'm gonna just go to the pulse rifle because I know I have this unlocked. Then you can start crafting. You pretty much start off on the left side, right? You'll select your intrinsic trait. That's pretty much stuck on every weapon. You don't get to change that. But as you level the gun up, which you'll do from using it, right? That's the main mechanic of crafting. You craft, you use the gun, you level them up. And then as you level them up, the gun will get stronger because you'll be able to do things like add a masterwork. So at level 7, you can choose handling, range, reload speed, stability, whatever it is for that gun. You can do that as you level it up. Then you got your perks. You start off with the basics, obviously, if you're at the beginning, right? So you buy your barrels, buy your magazines, and you got your 2 weapon traits here, your 2 perks. So you choose these. All this stuff costs neutral element. First time you craft. The only thing that costs anything different is the intrinsic trait, which costs resonant alloy, which is easy to get. All you got to do is literally just scrap any legendary in the game. It's not going to work for me because I already have full resonant alloy, but if you scrap any legendary weapon in the game, it will give you resonant alloy, right? So those are the materials you need. You need resonant alloy, which I just told you how to get. You need neutral element, which you get from when you turn in the deep sight resonance weapons, when you complete them and extract. And you'll also get the different element types like adroit, mutable, energetic, and ruinous. So all of this stuff is centered around the deep sight resonance weapons. Use those, complete those, extract the elements, get materials. Also, learn patterns. Complete enough patterns to unlock them, then you can craft the weapon. And when you come craft the weapon the first time, you're going to start off real basic. It's only going to cost you neutral element. You get a weapon crafted, you're done. Now, it'll look like this. The little symbol on it showing that it's shaped. You got your perks laid out here. You can put your little kill trackers or whatnot, and it shows you a little progress bar, right? You level it up, right? Let's say you level it up, like I'm level 9 now. Let's say I'm like, all right, cool. I like this pulse rifle. I want to go in. I want to modify the perks. I want to upgrade it. I want to make it better. So now instead of going to shape to create a new weapon, you're going to go to reshape to modify an existing weapon. So let's go to the pulse rifle. The first thing you're going to notice here is I can't do anything. I can't hit A. I can't do anything. That's because if you're going to reshape, you can't have the weapon equipped. So you got to take off the weapon that you have, and then you go back into the crafting screen, select your weapon, do that. I only say that because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be like, bro, I can't select my gun. Like, what's going on? You got to make sure it's unequipped, then you can start crafting. Now, I'm level 9. So I can come in here, and I can choose one of the masterwork options if I want to, right? And it shows you the cost. That's going to be 20 resonant alloy, right? With some glimmer and some cores. Also, it says there the weapon earns additional minor stat boost at level 20. So you're also going to get another stat boost when you hit level 20. So yeah, you can level it up, choose whatever you want. You get more perk options to choose from, magazine, barrel wise. Then you unlock enhanced perks. These are expensive, very expensive. And you have to, at least at this point in time, like make the right choice essentially. Because the way that this works is once you make a choice, you spend that material. But it does not unlock this option. So if you decide to come back later, and let's say I want to go, oh, I want outlaw. And then you're like, oh, you know what, I want moving target. You have to pay that cost every single time you swap them. I'm sure they're going to change that at some point because they already mentioned they're making some updates. They're looking at things and currencies and the way things are progressing. So I'm sure that's something they're going to take a look at, especially because the Sin Alloy and stuff is pretty rare, even though they are buffing the drop rates. At the time that I'm saying this, they're buffing the drop rates for Ascendant Alloys this week. So I guess by the time anybody sees this, it'll be buffed. So it won't be as bad to get this, but it's still pretty rare. So you want to make sure you're making the right choice. And you got to read these perks too, right? Because they don't just give a blanket buff, let's say. Like for the best example I could think of is something like the One For All perk. So like it's not on this gun, but basically like the One For All perk gives you, at its base, it gives you a 35% damage boost for 10 seconds. There's also enhanced One For All. Now, most people might think right off the bat, oh shit, it deals more damage. But that's not how that works. The way that works is basically if you get 3 kills, you get a 35% damage buff for longer than 10 seconds. I don't have it, so I don't know the exact timing, but it's longer than 10 seconds. It increases the duration. Maybe it's like 12 to 15 seconds or something like that, but it basically lengthens that bit of time. Don't know how much, but you know, it's a benefit of having the enhanced perk. So, you know, you pay these costs, you select the perks that you want to have, and then you come back to the end right here, you shape your weapon, and you have your weapon. That works for shaping and reshaping. So that's pretty much the way the system works. Everything is centered around deep sight resonance weapons, so you want to make sure you do these. Make sure you get as many materials as you can, right? Make sure you're completing them so you're unlocking more patterns. And then once you unlock the patterns, you go and you craft whatever it is that you want that's available, because we already went through it, but not every single gun is available. Right now, the only guns that are available for crafting are all of the Throne World weapons. So everything that's inside of Savathûn's Throne World, you can craft.